and this is my podcast, What Makes You Smarter? It's an extension of the RadioWhat.com internet radio station that I've been running for quite some time. And if you need DJ services, where do I always send you? Where do I send you? DJLittleRock.com. One more time, DJLittleRock.com. Check availability and get a free price quote. And maybe you could have me at your next event. You know, I like to party with the people. The people need to be entertained. Make your next thing a big one. Well, happy November 1st, 2020. We made it. We made it. It's November. What a great year October was. Election coming up in a couple of days. And I don't know, maybe things will be different November 4th. No matter who gets in office, things will be different, at least on the media-wise. I'm guessing November 4th, no matter who wins, things are going to be different. I'm not exactly sure how, but I hope they're better. Because the division is just, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous out there. I mean, who else is with me? And who else is against me? I don't care. This is just what I think. I think there's a lot of division. We need to bring this country together. We need to bring this world together. Quit fighting. No more fighting. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I know fights will always happen. There's always a struggle. People have different opinions about different things, on how to do different things. And there will be a struggle. But if we could do it without, maiming severely and killing, that would be great. But that's my humble opinion. If you'd like to tell your story or, hear the stories of others, if you'd like to have a whole conversation with me, I encourage you to check out my other podcast, What Makes You Famous. And you could find that using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. This week's shows, I'll be at the Cedar Lounge. Yeah, Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas on Thursday evening from 6 to 10. There's the video dance party karaoke jam. They got good drinks, good food, good people. Yeah, it's a good time at the Cedar Lounge Bar and Grill in Morrilton, Arkansas. Who'd have thought? Who'd have thought? It's great. I'm so glad that they have me there. It has been a good time. That's my newest public show. And I'm kind of excited to be there. Oh, yeah. And then Friday night, you can join me at the Rab in Conway, Arkansas. Yeah, the video dance party karaoke jam, my usual Friday night gig. Full bar, kitchens open, pool tables, pool tournament on Friday nights. So if you want to take your hand at, try your hand at playing pool, you can do that at the Rab and maybe even make some money. How about that? While you're waiting to sing on stage right next to me. On Friday night from 8 p.m. until 1 a.m. And then Saturday, I'll be at a wedding. So unless you're invited, you cannot come. And I think that one's a karaoke wedding too. They've already informed me ahead of time. This is a couple of my karaoke singers that have come out to the Rab, and they said, you know what? Yeah, we want to transfer that over to our wedding. So not only I'm going to play the background music, but I have all the karaoke that they want to sing available as well. Stoked, so stoked. It's going to be a great weekend for me and a great week. I have What Makes You Famous podcast, the conversations, the interviews, if you will, that are happening all week long. So yeah, that's happening. And then the newest thing that I've been doing content wise is I'm playing video games. And since I have this broadcast software, I've been putting the video games online, streaming video games. Hashtag Keys Dan Gaming. Now on with the show. Today on the program, 10 things you need to know today for Sunday, November 1st, 2020. 10 things you need to know today. Number 1, Fauci. Is it Fauci or Fauci? Fauci criticizes White House over recent pandemic response. Dr. Anthony Fauci, the United States top infectious disease expert and White House coronavirus task force member, criticized the Trump administration's recent handling of the pandemic in an interview with the Washington Post published Saturday evening. Fauci said the U.S., quote, could not be positioned more poorly, end quote, heading into the fall and winter. adding that the task force meets less frequently, and he and Dr. Deborah Birx, the task force coordinator, no longer have regular access to the president. Meanwhile, he said Trump is more focused on reopening the economy while, quote, the public health aspect of the task force has diminished greatly, end quote. Fauci admitted he has, quote, real problems, end quote, with Trump's now favored pandemic advisor, neuroradiologist Scott Atlas, whom he described as a, quote, smart guy who's talking about things that I believe he doesn't have any real insight or knowledge or experience in, end quote. The White House called Fauci's statement, quote, unacceptable, end quote. This is according to CNN and the Washington Post. Number 2, Obama, Biden reunite at Michigan rallies. Former Vice President Joe Biden, the Democratic nominee, reunited with his old boss, former President Barack Obama, in Flint, Michigan on Saturday as part of a final campaign stretch ahead of Tuesday's Election Day. Obama spoke first, touting his old running mate's acumen before passing off the mic to the candidate. The drive-in event was the first of 2 for the day in the crucial swing state. The pair also held a rally in Detroit. Meanwhile, President Trump held his own rallies in Pennsylvania, another key state, as he continues with a packed schedule that will take him to multiple states over the next several days. This is according to CNN and CBS News. Number 3, latest round of polls shows Biden up in swing states. The polls continue to look favorable for the Democratic nominee, former Vice President Joe Biden, with Election Day just 2 days away, though President Trump remains within striking distance in several battleground states. Biden leads Trump in Arizona, Florida, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin in the latest New York Times Siena College survey. A new Washington Post ABC News poll, meanwhile, shows Biden with a slight advantage in Pennsylvania, while Florida remains a toss-up. And CNN's most recent tally has Biden up fairly comfortably in Michigan and Wisconsin. The former vice president is also ahead in North Carolina and Arizona, although the contest is more narrow in those states, with the latter falling within CNN's margin of error. This is according to the New York Times and the Washington Post. Number 4, Biden unveils top campaign donors. Former Vice President Joe Biden, the Democratic presidential nominee, disclosed his campaign's top donors Saturday, the first time he's made the list public since he's won the nomination. Biden, who has reeled in $383 million throughout his run, named 817 bundlers who raised at least $100,000 for the candidate through their personal networks, often giving their own maximum donation as well. Per Politico, the list contains several top Democratic politicians and officials, Wall Street executives, Silicon Valley tycoons, and prominent Hollywood voices. His old primary competitor, former South Bend, Indiana Mayor Pete Buttigieg, was also on the list. Fox notes campaign finance reform advocates have grown concerned that Biden had kept the information under wraps to this point, especially since 90 million people have already voted. Previously, Democratic candidates have regularly disclosed their bundlers. This is according to Vox and Politico. Number 5, powerful typhoon strikes Philippines, appears to spare Manila. Officials said at least 10 people have been killed after Super Typhoon Goni made landfall in the eastern Philippines. The storm is one of the strongest in recent memory, is reportedly bearing catastrophic winds and heavy rain, forcing 1 million people in its path to evacuate. The government's disaster response agency is expecting major damage. The typhoon, however, appeared to spare the capital, Manila, and its 13 million residents. The city reportedly experienced power outages, but there is no evidence of widespread destruction. Goni is expected to weaken into a severe tropical storm within the next 24 hours, the Philippine Weather Agency said. This is according to the New York Times and Al Jazeera. Number 6, Australia records no local coronavirus transmission for first time since June. Australia recorded no new coronavirus infections that stemmed from community transmission on Sunday for the first time since June 9th, as many other nations around the world are experiencing a second or even third wave and preparing for new lockdowns. The state of Victoria, a coronavirus hotspot that accounts for the vast majorities of the country's COVID-19 fatalities, saw no new infections or deaths for the second consecutive day after a 112-day lockdown. Australia has not been hit as hard by the pandemic as many other countries, recording just 27,500 cases since it began. But the country's success largely stems from intense lockdown measures. BBC notes Victoria imposed some of the strictest stay-at-home orders in the world. But the state's largest city, Melbourne, began to reopen this week, and Victoria's Premier, Daniel Andrews, anticipates a normal holiday season. This is according to Reuters and BBC. Number 7, England to re-enter lockdown next week, Johnson says. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson announced Saturday that England will enter a second national lockdown beginning Thursday amid rising coronavirus cases. All non-essential shops, restaurants, and pubs will close for at least 4 weeks. If effective, the measure would theoretically be lifted December 2nd, but they could extend beyond that. People are expected to stay at home whenever possible, but like other European nations that have recently reimposed lockdowns during the second COVID-19 wave on the continent, there will be slightly more leeway this time around. Schools will remain open, and some people will be allowed to go into work if they can't do so remotely. Additionally, shopping for essential goods, going to medical appointments, exercising outdoors, and leaving to care for vulnerable people all have the green light. Johnson also said the country's furlough scheme, which covers 80% of laid-off workers' wages, will continue through November. This is according to The Guardian. Number 8, at least 2 killed, 5 wounded in Quebec City stabbing spree. At least 2 people were killed and 5 others wounded Saturday evening in Canada's Quebec City. The suspect, who was arrested and taken to a hospital for evaluation, was allegedly dressed in medieval clothing and armed with a sword. Quebec's Le Soleil newspaper reported the suspect was lying on the ground and hypothermic when detained and did not resist arrest. The city's police did not reveal if the attacks were considered random, but there was no immediate indication that the suspect may have acted for motives other than personal ones. Police have not released any information about the victim, although those who were wounded are being treated for varying levels of injury in hospitals. This is according to BBC and CNN. Number 9, Orthodox priest wounded after shooting in Lyon. Part of Lyon has been locked down by authorities after a Greek Orthodox priest was shot while closing his church in the French city on Saturday. France 24 reports a suspect has been arrested, but the city prosecutor could not confirm if the person was the assailant. The priest, a Greek citizen, is reportedly being treated for life-threatening injuries in a local hospital. The motive behind the attack is unclear, but French TV is reporting it seems to be a personal dispute. The Guardian reports. Police are looking into several theories, but journalists have been advised to exercise caution about linking it to other recent terrorist attacks in France. This is according to the BBC and the Associated Press. Number 10, Trump caravan surrounds Biden bus on Texas interstate. The Biden campaign canceled a Texas event Friday after a caravan of President Trump's supporters surrounded a Biden bus with their vehicles while traveling on Interstate 35 between San Antonio and Austin. The campaign said the cars tried to stop the bus in the middle of the highway, Staffers on the bus reportedly called 911 so police could escort them to their next location, and the scheduled event was called off out of an abundance of caution to avoid any potential unrest. Trump tweeted a video of the incident on Saturday evening stating, quote, "I love Texas," end quote. Several polls expect a close presidential race in the normally reliably red Lone Star State. This is according to The Hill and Slate. That's 10 things you need to know today for Sunday, November 1st, 2020. Thank you so much for listening. This has been What Makes You Smarter. I'm Keys Dan, trying to fill my head with knowledge, trying to keep up with current events. And if you like the sound of my voice, take the journey along with me. But please don't make me the only source of news. I am not as smart as many other people. Make sure that you check up my footnotes at the bottom of every, check up the sources at the bottom of every news item that I give. Let's all get along. Let's all get together. Let me know what's going on in your neck of the woods. Drop me some comments. Leave me some reviews. And, like, share, and comment for sure. Like, share, comment. That's the thing you need to do on social media to make sure that the word gets passed along. And I'll keep doing these. I'll keep filling my head with knowledge and hopefully filling yours with knowledge as well. So, any comments on anything that I've said, any comments on anything that's going on in the news, anything that I haven't said, go ahead and let me know. And if you want to call me, you can leave a voice message and maybe I'll play it on the next edition of What Makes You Smarter, 501-470-6386, or email info@radiowhat.com. Any questions, any ideas, anything that you want to hear on the What Makes You Smarter podcast. Because this is my other podcast. The one that started it all is the What Makes You Famous podcast. That's where I get to talk to people and find out more about them. Everybody has a story. So if you'd like to hear your story or tell your story or hear the stories of others, you can check out that other podcast, What Makes You Famous. Find it everywhere using the hashtag What Makes You Famous. Yeah, that one's fun. But I can't talk to people all the time. I can do these a whole lot more often because it's only me. I don't have to contend with someone else's schedule. It's just me and the microphone and the broadcast software and the camera. All right. Hey, and I'll probably play some games a little bit later. Online gaming, streaming online, hashtag Keys Dan Gaming. So if you want to watch me play, I think, I haven't looked at Fortnite, but Fortnite up till at least yesterday was still playing Fort Nightmares, where if you die, you come back as a ghost and try to get all the survivors. I kind of didn't like that so much. Hopefully they're back to normal. I haven't really looked at it today, but I might play Marvel's Avengers. I might play some Rocket League. I don't know. There's a whole lot of games that I have in my game folder. I just like the Fortnite, and I know I'm not alone in that. There's a lot of people playing Fortnite, and I believe the hype now. I've only been playing for a couple of months. I'm late to the game. All right, that's enough rambling for me. That's it for me. It's Keys Dan, RadioWhat.com, DJLittleRock.com. Peace. I'm out of here.